this is Lee. This is such a crazy time, isn't it? A crazy time of life. We have pandemic, we're state of emergency. Everybody's experiencing this thing that's happening, coronavirus, and everybody's experiencing it differently. And I wanted to talk today about how do you do college visits during this crazy coronavirus time. And I thought it would be good for you and I to talk about that because one thing I know is that homeschoolers are faced with a lot of frustrating situations right now. There's canceled college admission tests, changes in college admission tests. Oh my goodness, it's online. I've never done that. Colleges are closing their campuses, and you can't go on a college visit anymore. They've prevented that from happening, and even in the fall, you don't really know whether colleges are going to be open in the fall, whether you're starting college or trying to go on a college visit in the fall. So it's really a difficult time. And the one thing I wanted to encourage you with is that everybody's in the same boat, right? So all public schoolers, all private schoolers, all homeschoolers, we're all facing this at the same time. And there is a lot of confusion about this unknown future that we have. I think it's important for us to remember that there's good things about our situation as homeschooling that makes it a little easier for us. Obviously our school is portable, so it goes with us wherever we go. It never closes because of snow or pandemic, right? But at the same time, there's other benefits I think that are especially evident right now because public schoolers, private schoolers are having, let's say, limited success with online learning because it's really not that efficient of a way to learn. And so the way that you've been homeschooling all along is probably a better way to educate them what is happening at the public schools. But also, some of them are going to just pass fail classes or ending for the year or giving, grades based on what was done before. And that's a lot of uncertainty. And I think that really points out why right now having your homeschool transcript is more important than it's ever been, because your transcript can look fantastic compared to, say, a public schooler with a bunch of pass fails or not really sure if they're going to finish classes or whatever. So what I wanted to do, though, was to really dive into, excuse me, what are colleges looking for? Okay. They're looking for students who are genuinely interested in attending. They're looking for students who will for certain stay all 4 years of college and graduate on time. And if you can convince a college that you're that person, you're really going to stay for 4 years, then they're more likely to give you admission and they're more likely to give you scholarships, even very big scholarships, because colleges want you to love them, not the other college, just them. And that means you have to demonstrate interest. I tell people it's like trying to woo a spouse, right? There's chocolate involved, you're trying to show them that you really care about them. And the same thing is true for colleges. You're trying to demonstrate interest in each college. So how do you do that, though, when the college is completely closed and you can't get to campus? So one thing you can do is you can engage with them on social media. You can follow them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and interact. Now, whereas before the pandemic, colleges would go to your social media and see if you were a genuine, wholesome person or committed crimes on Facebook, right? And so they looked at your social media, but they didn't really interact with you on social media. Now, however, because they can't be talking to people in person, some of the college admission advisors are actually on their college page interacting with actual students. You can also talk with them by email. You can talk with them by Skype. And I would encourage you to take an online tour of the college if possible, a virtual tour. When you do that, make sure that you allow cookies, which means that you're letting them know that your computer surfed their website. And that can be a way of demonstrating interest to them, a way that, the public doesn't usually think about. But by them knowing that your computer is checking out this page and that page of their website, they can track you down and know that you are genuinely interested. So arrange for an online appointment, for a virtual tour, attend, ask questions during that virtual tour, interact as much as you can, and then follow up afterwards by email or even a phone call if you want to with the college admission advisor, and try to ask some questions that didn't get answered in the tour. Hopefully, some thoughtful questions. That can be a challenge, but you know what? If your student and the parent work together, you will come up with some questions to ask. Try to treat it like an in person visit as much as possible. When you visit a college in person, you can actually sit in on a class. Well, you know what? Great news. All the college classes are now online too, right? So ask if you could sit in on one of the college classes that interests your student so that they can attend online. And that's going to tell you a lot about how well are they doing in this pandemic. Are they able to provide these classes online? And because, maybe for the first semester or more, you have to take classes online while living at home. And so you just kind of want to know that that situation will work for that particular college. And when you're all done with that virtual tour, make sure that you send a thank you note. Thank you for working so hard on this online virtual tour. Thank you for showing me this. I would have never thought to look there. Whatever it is, very specific about their tour. Now, if you've decided based on that you are interested in a college, then what do you do? Well, you can actually have a meeting with the person in the admission office. You can arrange a meeting. You can do it over Skype, perhaps, or maybe they have a Zoom account or something like that, and you're meeting with them virtually online. Other ways that you can demonstrate interest is that if you are able to take the SAT or ACT test or other subject tests, then perhaps you could release those scores to your top colleges without seeing them first. It's emotional. It's hard to make that decision. But if you know your scores are going to be, pretty good, at least, maybe great, pretty good, then go ahead and give those scores to the colleges even without seeing them first. That way you'll know that you are at least counting them in their top 4 colleges. Now you can also ask questions about the on campus faith groups that your child might be interested in attending, fellowships or whatever. Find out if those churches have services that are online so that you can check them out. You really want your student to be finding a church home before they leave their home here, right? So make sure that you're checking that out too. Okay, and then what has not changed during this whole pandemic is that you do want to be looking carefully at their website. One of the things I want you to do is to look carefully at their COVID-19 response. Usually it's at the top of each web page so that you can see what is special about their processes and their decisions that have changed at this time. So make sure you look over that carefully. But also, if you're interested in a college, you always have to be checking what is their admission policy? What are their procedures? What is the requirements? Do they require a foreign language? Do they require this test or that test? Or will they take both, right? You want to be looking carefully at that. Some colleges will have a specific page for homeschool admission. And they may say that, they wanted to see this from homeschoolers that, is not usual for their application process. You might even want to be finding out if you can take online classes during high school as dual enrollment. That would certainly demonstrate interest, wouldn't it? Now, at a certain point, you've gone through the finding a college process and you get to senior year, and then you're thinking, I've got to apply, Okay, so let's talk about how to apply during a pandemic. Okay, so one thing you want to do is just ask your advisor to request an application. That's just another way of saying, I'm really interested. Some colleges will actually offer to waive the application fee after you attend a visit in person. And you know what? Maybe they'll do that for you now. You could even ask an open ended question. Do you waive application fees after a virtual tour like you might have during a free tour on campus? One thing that is a not miss during senior year when you're applying is to literally tell them, you are my first choice. Now, they may be your first choice just that one day, but it has to be true, right? They're your first choice. When possible, use the college's own application and not the Common App, because that way you can tailor the application more specifically to that one particular college. And then you want to write all application essays, even when they say they are optional. You modify those essays to be as specific as possible for the college that you want to attend. You give them all test scores that they might request, even if they're optional. You still want to give them a test score if possible. If you're having trouble locating the SAT test or ACT test online and navigating that system is difficult, then check out the alternative test, the CLT exam. Their website is cltexam.com. And they are a little bit more used to doing testing online. So if there's trouble with the major two tests, SAT and ACT, maybe this third alternative is going to be a perfect fit for you. Now, you want to also ask your college contact to comment on anything that you notice about your campus visit or whatever you're not sure about. You can ask them to comment on financial aid or when they will be able to attend classes on campus, because those are things that are going to be changing throughout time over the next few months. Now, when possible, when it is possible to visit, I do want you to do a visit in person, because there's only so much that you can tell by a virtual tour, and especially during a virtual tour when there are no students present, right? Your child is going to be living at this university for 4 years. So you kind of want to see the place where they're going to be living before they go there to live. So make sure that you're doing that. Now, whenever you're thinking about how do I demonstrate this interest that I have to a college, remember that you're trying to prove that they are the top of your college list. You're trying to demonstrate this wow factor so that when they see your name, they think, oh, yeah, that was the one that did this thing, right? And that can really help you. Now, remember that while the world has changed and this process feels very, very difficult, I want you to remember that the decisions you're making about college, about what major you're going to have, etc., these are not at all like the decisions on who to get married to. Okay. Yeah, the colleges, they want you to stay there for 4 years, but you don't have to. There's no rule that says you have to stay there. You can apply, attend for a while, and then decide, oh, that's not for me. I'm going somewhere else. And there's no penalty for that, right? So it is not at all like a marriage situation. You can change your college, you can transfer to another college, you can change your major. There is nothing that you are doing during this college admission process that is written in stone. Even when you're filling out the FAFSA, which provides a certain amount of financial aid, that's not written in stone either. When you fill out the FAFSA, it is not a requirement that you take the money that is offered to you. If they offer you a loan, you don't have to take it. It's completely optional. The other thing is that during this time of crisis with the financial upheaval and economic upheaval that we are all facing, the financial aid is becoming a little bit more flexible, because they know that it could be 20-30% of the population that's unemployed and needs more financial aid right now. So there's some flexibility that you can have. All right. Now, remember, your homeschool transcript is more important than ever right now, as people are having trouble getting the SAT test and ACT test to different colleges, and public and private school students are having a great deal of trouble figuring out what's going to be on their transcript. How is it going to look on their transcript? But not us. As homeschoolers, we get to finish our classes just like normal. Even if it goes till August, September, we can finish our classes just like normal. They can go on the transcript just like normal. We can have our official homeschool transcript with a great GPA. We can include all of the things that our child planned to do, maybe the things they're accidentally doing right now. If they're working for a grocery store and they're delivering groceries to shut-ins, that can go on the transcript too, as a great activity, or maybe occupational education, or some of the other options for class titles, depending on what they're doing. You can provide a fantastic homeschool transcript. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do. That's how you can make your students stand out as a college applicant. So if you need help with making your transcript, I'd encourage you to check out the totaltranscriptsolution.com, totaltranscriptsolution.com, and I will be happy to help you make your homeschool transcript. And you are going to have a great time finding a college from the comfort of your own home during a stay home and stay safe time. You can still demonstrate interest in college. So I hope that that's really been helpful for you, and that you have a great day. Take care.